Today, we're going to talk about 5 design tweaks that you can make in one room to completely change the look of a space or to give it a little bit of a refresh with very little effort, but really strategic choices. Now, hello, my friends. I am Sarah. Welcome to Grace My Space. If you are new to my channel, I talk about DIY, home decor, interior design, and home remodeling, which is hard to even say because I just completed the biggest home remodel of my life that took a year and a half to complete, and I'm still in a little bit of PTSD. So that's why I'm so excited about today's video, actually, because it's not anything where you are like ripping down walls or you are completely changing the whole look of a room. These are not ideas that are like super labor intensive and you are intimidated to even start. I want these to be really, really straightforward and really easy so that anybody can do them and all of you will want to do them. So with that said, let's get to decorating. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is furniture placement and layout, and we're going to go back to my last home. We lived here for 5 years, and so I had enough time in that home to be able to show you various arrangements of furniture. One of the biggest obstacles in this space was the fact that there were so many doorways and hallways all converging on this room, including it being directly off the front door. So I always felt in the early years as if I had to kind of push the furniture towards that big window to keep the hallway open for transportation and for easy flow through the room. And that was extremely limiting in the way that I could place my furniture and the amount of furniture that I had available in that space. And so one of the things I want to show you is just thinking outside of the square, outside of the expected perimeter of a room with furniture placement. Now, one of my rules of thumb in an open concept is to use an area rug as an anchor point for your furnishings. So this is a great example. This is how it looked when we first moved in. I used one area rug, shoved it all the way over to the window, and we kept all of our furniture placed there. But it really disconnected the entire space from the fireplace across from it, and it made it very difficult to have enough furniture for comfortable seating for our entire family rather than just a few people. So over the years, you can see I kind of played with the couch placement, I played with chair placement, I added a couch, I took a couch away, I added a cabinet during the COVID years because we needed more storage for our homeschool supplies. I took the cabinet back out eventually, and there was a lot of different transformations and layouts that I tried until I finally landed on the one that worked best for us, which was actually extending that furniture all the way through the living room, essentially blocking the hallway. When you think about it more, it really was just giving a pathway along the fireplace, around the chairs, and then to the hallway. So we don't always need direct lines of transportation for doorways and hallways. Sometimes we can really spread out, make the room feel more inviting, incorporate it more into focal points like that fireplace. And so I would just encourage you, if you have a room that you feel just isn't right, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't flow right, play with furniture placement. Test it, try it out, move it around, do it a million times until you get it just right, and it will make a huge difference. Now let's hop back to my current home. Now, we are a living room family, and I don't know if you know what that means, but essentially there are bedroom families and there's living room families. The bedroom families all tend to spend time in their bedrooms for one reason or another, maybe not all the time, but they still use their bedrooms for living purposes. We only use our bedrooms for sleeping purposes, and every other functionality of the home happens in our living room, which means that we have cords everywhere, we have computers everywhere. I work from home, my kids both work from home with me, they have their own computers, I have my own computer, Aaron has his own computer. We have 2 different iPads that we use for various purposes, and there are chargers and cords and chaos everywhere because of this. And this is the summer that I find the solution. This is a very typical look. It's actually a little bit calm. I did try at one point to solve it with this solution of this wicker basket, which I thought was a fantastic idea and would be if I was the only one using it, but I'm not. And then it gets stuck and tangled and it's chaos. And so I have to come up with a solution so that it doesn't look like this all the time anymore. I can't stand it. And that leads me to tip number 2. Once you kind of get the layout and the structure of a room set, you need ways to organize it and to keep the clutter down as much as possible. And so while you can do that with traditional storage furniture, you can add bookshelves, you can add ottomans that have built-in storage, you can do all kinds of things to kind of keep the clutter down. I feel like this is a pretty good example of making it customized specifically to the obstacles that you have within your own family. For me, it was all of the cords and all of the devices, since our family uses this room so heavily and all of us work from home to some extent, whether for school or for our jobs. And so we all have devices and it was chaos. So I basically just flipped over a console table I already owned. I did some retrofitting so that I could add these hanging suspended device holders. And then I flipped it back over, and this is what it looks like when they're just hanging there. It's really convenient. You can just slide them in, slide them out. And then I added some cord wranglers because it was the cords all along that has caused me so much grief, and just stuck those right to the side of the suspended device holders. And then I added a power strip to the back so that all the devices can be charging with a surge protector all at the same time, and it works so well. Honestly, it's probably not the most aesthetically pleasing look if you're looking at it from the outside in, but from the inside out, you can't even see it. The couch hides it. It's wonderful. It's a great solution because all the devices still have easy access for my kids to be able to pull them in and out. The cords are held together with the cord holders, and so they can drop the cord and it doesn't disappear forever. It's easy to grab it and plug it right back in. And then I can also use this table for decor and for pretties. Hold on, I've got to find an art scene that I like for today. That one's nice. That's peaceful. Sometimes it really amazes me how much organization helps a room. And it's not like a tip, right? Because cleaning and picking up and tidying is not groundbreaking. It's not new. Like, they've been doing it since the Garden of Eden, I'm sure. They're out there cleaning things with their fruit trees. But it really does just give you like the sense of calm when you've taken a space from chaos to clean, or chaos to at least organized, and are really just putting a little bit of effort into your home and kind of looking at it instead of from the point of this is one more chore that I have to check off my list, or this is just one more task that I can't keep up with. Instead of looking at it from a negative perspective, changing your mindset into something of, I have a home that I get to clean, I get to organize it, I have the privilege of changing the space so that it serves me better, updating something as simple as electronic storage so that it's serving me better, so that it's not causing my brain chaos, and feeling like the visual clutter is controlling my mindset and my peace. And really just wiping that slate clean to say, I have control over this space. These are the single steps that I can do to bring it into a place of peace and calm and organization and service to the family, rather than a place of overwhelm. So sometimes that looks like completely starting from scratch, buying organizational tools, buying bins, buying cabinets, buying storage, purging your house, getting rid of things that you don't need, which I do all the time and is very helpful. And other times it looks like a very specific project where I needed to get the cords cleaned up, I needed to get the computers off the floor and off the couches. And so I've tackled it in this specific way for our family, but for your family, what does that look like? What does this tip really look like practically so that you can take a space where you've always felt overwhelmed and chaotic and turn it into a space that serves you well? Now, I know that this is a very specific solution for my problem, and that there are literally already charging tables that exist. You can search on Amazon, charging table, literally, and it will come up with some options. But I didn't like the way they looked. They were too plain for me. They were too modern for me. And so taking a table that I already own and just retrofitting it to the solution that I needed has actually been really wonderful. And since the sofa is high enough, you can barely see it, which is also important to me because I didn't want to just take the visual clutter from the table or the sofa and put it here. I wanted it to be hidden by these couch pillows, and they do, and it works very well. And the kids, they've actually been sticking to this system. Prayers that continues. 'Cause knocking on wood's not gonna be enough. Tip number 3 is adding live plants. Now this one needs a little bit of help. We're gonna resuscitate it. We're gonna divide it. It hasn't been watered in quite some time because she was kind of shoved in a corner. But I wanna show you the difference that adding a live plant can make to a room to bring actual life to the space, but also visual life. Now this little plant baby is gonna take a little bit to recover from the surgery that she underwent, but I think it's gonna bounce back just fine. I did find this little cutie. It's got some purple and dark green foliage, which is really pretty and a little bit different. And it's a really soft inclusion of this color scheme to bring a little bit more cohesiveness to the room. All right, now are you ready for this? This is the real test of the mic. I have gotten so many comments about the sound quality of videos when I step away from the camera, and I've got to tell you guys, it's been a struggle. It's been a legitimate struggle because I have used a mic on every single video I've ever filmed. That may surprise people, but I have. The problem was I was using a mic that was affordable. So I got a new mic and it was not affordable, and it better darn well be worth it. So if the sound quality is better in this video, please let me know in the comments. And if it's not, I don't want to know. No, I'm just kidding. You can tell me, because if it's not, then I'm going to return it because it was really expensive. Now, the general principle of adding a plant to your space is obviously not groundbreaking, but I really want to show you that it kind of is. Just a little bit, just a smidge. We have this plant here. It's not real, it's fake. And I showed it to you in one of my most recent videos where we styled the space. And I'm gonna take it away, see what happens. It's pretty boring, isn't it? Now, could I do some rearranging to fill in the hole? Sure, let's do that. Let's fill in the hole. We're gonna put this here, no. We're gonna put this like this. We're gonna pop these up here. Okay, it's looking good, it's looking good. Oh, it's dusty. All right, so I'd do something different than this, but for the sake of the video, the hole is filled and it's still very flat, because it has no life. It's a dead shelf. Again, a fake plant, but she's pretty and she's full and she's green and vibrant. And since this is fake, one of the most important things that you should really consider when buying fake greenery specifically is how realistic it looks. So this is a real touch plant. It's really more rubber based than plastic based, if that makes sense. So it has more of like a real feel to it, which does matter and you can see, but it's also not like a neon green. A lot of times the fake plants that you can find are very neonish and not natural in any way, and you can spot them as a fake from a mile away. This one, I can tell it's fake. Let's be honest, you can tell most fake plants are fake, but this one is a better quality than the lot that's out there. And immediately, ta-da, no longer dead. So the key takeaway from this is, if you are not a plant person, if you don't enjoy taking care of another living thing on top of everything else you have to do, fake plants are a great stand-in. For here, we have a fake floral arrangement. It's very messy. It needs a little bit of an upkeep situation. I think a child got into it, but it is very vibrant. These are also real touch. So if you don't like just plain greens, you can add florals just as easily. But since we're talking simplicity and it's summertime, if you live in a climate where you can just grab fresh flowers out of your yard or off the side of the road, in your garden, things you've toiled and labored over, you may as well bring them in and enjoy them in a floral bouquet and have it be a very simple addition to the space that's just adds so much vibrancy and life to it because it is alive. I feel like I can't say that enough. It is alive and it literally brings life into your space. Now over here, I've got a lot going on. I kind of think I need to tame the situation of plants because I do have a plethora of, these are all real, but this is fake, this is fake. It's a little bit of an overload, so maybe I'm gonna tame it down, but this is what I wanted to show you. My daughter knows the value of adding life, and so she made all of these Lego flowers. They never die. They're so cute. And this leads me to tip number 5, adding some personality. Now I'm going to show you 2 very specific ways to add personality, even though there are hundreds of ways that you can do this. We're going to hop up to my bedroom where I did update this space basically with paint and decor when we first moved in almost 2 years ago. But this large wall has always felt very plain, and the fact that there's a window on one side and not on the other is always felt a little bit out of balance. So I'm going to add some personality to this space with some very simple wall molding. I have a box, and I'm going to show you what a difference that makes for the entire room. Isn't it amazing what putting a box on the wall did for this space? Honestly, I can't believe I waited so long to do that. It only took me, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, but that's only because I had to wait for the caulk to dry and stuff. But it just adds some personality and it gives some definition to this large wall. And not only does it do that, but it also gives you the option of placing smaller art above a king-size bed without it feeling like out of balance or out of scale with the space. So if I were to put these 2 framed prints above the bed where they are without this, it would look like they're too small for the space. But this just gives you it shrinks your barrier and it makes it so that it feels like it's a focal point on purpose, and they don't have to be like these huge pieces of art to be in balance with the bed itself. To be honest, I have always struggled with what to put over a king-size bed for that exact reason, because it always felt like I had to do some really huge piece of large-scale art or else it didn't look right. And this solves the problem, and I love it. It totally changed the whole feel of this space. Now, long term, I think I'm going to continue it. These are the only 2 spaces that don't have either a window or closet doors or an entrance to another room on the walls. So I think that I could easily do a box of molding that's the same size as the window on that space to mirror and make it feel a little bit less unbalanced, since right now there's only 1 window on the wall. And then I can do a similar size one to this over here to continue it like almost in a pattern. I think that'll go a long way. It's super duper cheap and affordable to add this really inexpensive molding, and it will dress up the room very quickly. Now, adding personality can be done with something as simple as this, or full-blown wood treatments on the wall, wainscoting, shiplap. You can even do wallpaper, paint stripes. It doesn't matter how you dress up the walls. Adding personality to the walls is a great way to take a flat room and make it really beautiful and interesting. Now, I'm sure you caught this, but this one is actually tip number 5. That was tip number 4. My daughter picked me this adorable bouquet, and tip number 5 is adding a personalized touch to your home. A lot of people will do that with family photos or with artwork that you've created, but there are so many ways that you can add personalization to your home and memorialize moments that are really special to you. And this is one way that I've chosen to do that. A hand-picked bouquet from your child is something you always want to remember. So I simply press them and put them in this frame, and I need to get another one and add another one down here. But this is a really easy way to just bring a little bit of those personal touches to your home. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that these 5 very basic, very straightforward ideas just give you a little bit of a spark to some creativity that you can bring into your space. Take the general concepts and apply them to what fits your family, what fits your style, what fits your dream home, and really key in on the simplicity of these tips, because sometimes that's really all that it takes is a personalized touch or an easy plant or changing the layout of your room without buying any new furniture. There are so many ways that you can really change the look of a space without a huge investment of time or money. And I hope that these 5 tips are really easy for you to implement. So let me know what you're taking away from this. Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you're going to change in a space that's kind of been bothering you, or you just felt like it was falling a little flat, or you needed a little refresh. And I am excited to hear what you guys are going to be up to. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'll see you next week.